the first 5 judicial reviews being held into HS2, the planned high-speed rail link between London and Birmingham that was cut through South Northampton, have concluded in the High Court. The proposed line, as you've been hearing, would cut through the south of the county, and there are an estimated 172,000 homes which could be blighted. So what's the outcome of these reviews, and how do campaigners feel about the future? Joe Rukin is from the group Stop HS2 and is with me now. The judicial reviews have taken 9 days at the High Court. How do you feel on the final day?
I think it's gone really well. I think we've put very strong arguments together. I think that the Department for Transport has put very little in terms of substance back. The reason that it's taken 2 days longer than expected is purely because they've gone on for so long, basically trying to quote various previous legal cases, reasonably obscure, to try and, suggest that they create precedents. But, we put a lot of really strong stuff forward, and, the Department for Transport, the best defence they could come up with was that no decision has been made, even though the QC kept referring to the decisions document, trying to say that it was all about policy, despite the fact that, you've had hundreds of millions of pounds worth of contracts been signed. HS2 has apparently got over 1,000 staff now. And obviously you've currently got the safeguarding consultation going on, which at the end of it will legally secure the route and has planning implications. So to say that there's, it's just a statement of policy with no legal implications is absolutely ridiculous. But that's the best that they got. One
of the main areas of contention for people that would potentially be affected by this is the compensation for property owners, the scope of the compensation, and also the area which it covers. And there seems to be a bit of legal wrangling over the difference between fair compensation, which the government talks about, and full compensation, which the homeowners are asking for. What was discussed around that?
Well, that's one of the bits of insanity you've got around this. To most people listening to this, they think that fair compensation is full compensation, but no, the government believes that fair compensation is, whatever we come up with, despite the fact that the previous Secretary of State for Transport, Philip Hammond, said that no one, because this is supposedly in the national interest, no one should lose out financially.
You don't think it weakens your argument then that you're discussing compensation? I mean, Stop HS2, the very name of the group suggests you don't want it to go ahead. If you're entering into discussions around compensation, have you not accepted that HS2 is a fait accompli? You've just got to talk around the edges.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I'd say there were 5 legal challenges that have been brought, and basically, there is a need to make sure that the government are held to account on all the things that we believe have been done legally wrong.
These judicial reviews may lead to changes in the process or changes in the way that things move forward. But following the autumn statement, when the Chancellor again expressed the government's intentions to press ahead with HS2, Are you not fighting a losing battle? You don't accept then that this will go ahead eventually and that all of this is just stalling?
No, absolutely. Well, the government are the ones who are stalling. You mentioned George Osborne's statement. He said that Stage 2 was going to be announced up to Leeds and Manchester and Heathrow in the new year. We were expecting it in December. We were originally told, autumn, and the plans were originally delivered to Justine Greening in March. Everything about HS2 gets delayed and delayed and delayed. And we thought they were rather stupid, suggesting that they were going to produce the plans for Stage 2 before we've got the results of the judicial review, because we're not going to actually get the ruling until middle of January,
because
maybe the start of February.
It does seem on the surface that campaigners are trying to drag it out, to stall it a bit, get it to 2015, let's have a change of government possibly, and then it might be knocked out of the ballpark that way, or into the long grass at least.
No, the government has got a duty. If they're going to do this, they've got to do it legally. And, as we're starting to say before, our strongest case, I've always believed, is the environmental case. They have failed to comply with the Strategic Environmental Assessment Regulations. They failed to comply with the Habitats Directive. They failed to comply with the Aarhus Convention. These are all planks of the law. They haven't done this legally. They haven't done it fairly. They have just rushed it through, and it is a botched job.
Okay.
And there are so many people who wouldn't necessarily, there are lots of people who've said to us that if we thought this was in the national interest and it was the right thing to do, we would have taken the money and we would have walked away.
Okay.
But the reason that the opposition is so strong is because it's a really, really bad idea.
We'll have to leave it there, and the High Court judges will have their say. We're expecting the verdict in January. Joe Rukin from the campaign group Stop HS2.